Hey everybody, Mark Reactor here. This is going to be a review video instead of a reaction video. I went to see Black Panther today in the movie theater, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it in case anybody's interested in hearing what I have to say. I don't want to make this video too long because it's basically just me sitting here talking, and how boring is that? Anyway, these are my thoughts on the movie. Just a couple things. One thing, first of all, if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, there's going to be some things I'm going to talk about that if you haven't seen it, you may want to wait until after seeing the movie to watch this video. So you have been warned. Now, I do have some notes off to the side that I wrote down with different things that I want to talk about. So if you see me looking over from side to side, or from time to time, that's why. One of the first things I want to talk about is how before this movie came out, I wasn't very invested in the Black Panther character, just because when he came out in Captain America Civil War, they didn't do much of a background story for him. And for me personally, if I'm really going to get invested into a character, I like to know where they're coming from, why they are the way they are, how they got to be that way, and all that. So I wasn't too invested in the character up to this point, just because they didn't do a lot of background history on him. So I was kind of leery as to whether or not I even wanted to see Black Panther. But then I figured they're probably going to do more storyline for him, which would be good to see going into Infinity War, so that hopefully I can be more invested in the character once Infinity War comes out. And let me just say, I'm so glad that I went to see it today, because they did a really good job of doing background story for him, as far as where he came from, why he is the way he is. It was a lot more of an origin story than I was expecting, and I'm really glad for that. So now I feel more invested in the character going forward. I'm not going to talk about like the typical things that come with mostly every single Marvel movie, as far as like visually stunning, great acting, awesome music, fantastic storyline. Those things all kind of come hand in hand with a Marvel movie, and this one was no exception. Visually, it was absolutely amazing. Score-wise, as far as the music, was incredible. The acting was awesome. The storyline was great. So get all that out of the way first. One of the things that I thought was interesting was, up to this point, I didn't realize just how much vibranium was still left on Earth. I kind of liked how they gave a little bit of an origin story as far as the vibranium too, how it came to Earth with the meteor striking Africa and all that kind of stuff, and how that is the main source of Wakanda as far as their technology and everything like that. So that was really kind of cool. It's going to be interesting to see if and how that all plays into Infinity War, as far as like weaponry and things like that. So I thought that was kind of a neat little history lesson on the vibranium and how that came to be as well. A couple different characters that I want to mention real quick. First of all, one of my favorite characters in this movie was Black Panther's sister, Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. I'd never heard of her before this movie, but I absolutely love her character. What I liked about her was how, when we first see her, she just seems to be very unassuming, only to find out that she's just like this tech genius who came up with all these awesome gadgets and things for him to use throughout the movie, which I thought was actually incredible. And it's going to be interesting to see how she plays into Infinity War as well, because if I remember correctly, I think she was in the trailer. So, plus she's just darn cute, isn't she? She was awesome. I love her character. It was good to see Claw come back as one of the villains, played by Andy Serkis, of course. Andy Serkis, of course, who also, as we know, played Gollum in Lord of the Rings. My precious. Anyway, that was a horrible. Anyway, so it was really cool to see him come back, and what I liked about his character in this movie was the comic relief aspect of his character in this movie was fantastic. One thing that we know Marvel does exceedingly well is comic relief. What I love about the way they do it is they don't overdo it to the point where it becomes distracting, but I just love his comic relief in this movie, as well as his villainy. He was a good villain, but he was also extremely funny, which I really enjoyed. It's just a shame that, spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen the movie, it's just a shame that, you know, he died. Anyway, but it was also awesome to see Everett Ross come back, played by, of course, Martin Freeman, another great actor from the Lord of the Rings movies, playing the agent. And it was awesome to see. What I liked about what they did with him in this movie was how they really gave him a chance towards the end to be a part in the final battle, to bring down all the ships that were carrying the weapons before they were able to get out of Wakanda. I thought that was really cool that they gave him that opportunity to do that. It was neat to see that side of his character as well. Okay, well, this video is getting a little long, so I want to pretty much wrap it up here with two final things that I want to talk about really quickly, and which are the mid-credit and end-credit scenes, which I thought were really cool as well. So, of course, in the first one, we see the new king of Wakanda now, as he's talking at the UN conference, saying about how he wants Wakanda to be more open to the rest of the world as far as sharing their resources and things with the rest of the world, which of course brought on the snide remark of, what can a bunch of third world farmers offer the rest of the world, or something like that. And of course they just kind of do this smug little smile, and then it cuts out, which was really neat. I kind of like how they left it hanging there a little bit without any kind of response shown from him on that. So it just kind of leaves it to your imagination as far as what he said after that, which kind of would have been cool to see. But then, of course, the final end credit scene, we see the kids leaning over somebody, the Wakandan kids leaning over somebody. We don't know who it is, and then it turns out to be Bucky, who is apparently recovering in Wakanda. He walks out of the hut, and this is what I wanted to talk about. I did hear a theory. I don't know how true it is, but the theory that I heard was that Black Panther's sister, Shuri, came up with some kind of technology to basically erase all of the Hydra brainwashing that was inside Bucky's head, so that he can no longer be unwillingly transformed into the Winter Soldier. So if that's the case, that's really cool. And I think that will play well into the whole storyline when Infinity War comes out. Maybe. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, this has been my brief little review of the Marvel Black Panther movie. Didn't go into too much detail, too much depth, or anything like that. I just wanted to get a couple of thoughts across. So feel free to let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the movie, and any other thoughts that you have as far as what this movie could mean as far as Infinity Wars and how it may tie in, and any other things like that. Possibly any Easter eggs I may have missed throughout the movie. I've never read any of the comics, so there may have been things in there that were in the comics that I didn't even notice. So anyway, feel free to leave your comments in the section below, and if you enjoyed this movie, feel free to give it a like or a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. I'm always looking for new subscribers, so feel free to subscribe and check out all my other videos as well. And thanks for watching. Until next time, be blessed and be a blessing.